Hey students, in this video I'm going to go through the answer key for the Chapter 6 review number 2. Again, this is review number 2. Remember, this review looks identical to your test, just with different numbers within each question. Please make sure you try it on your own before you watch this video, but you may correct your work as you watch this. And at the end, if you have any questions, just let me know. So question 1 asks us to write the word sentence as an equation, and the word sentence is 6 less than a number G equals 13. So let's look at the first part that says 6 less than a number G. I need to think about what words less than means, what operation that's asking me to do with 6 and G. Well, less than does mean subtraction, but remember there are some subtraction phrases that tell us to actually switch the order of the numbers. And this is one of those. When I say less than, that does not mean to do the first number minus the second number. It means to switch them, to do the second number minus the first number. So not 6 minus G, but G minus 6. 6 less than G means G minus 6. And now the end over here says equals 13. So that's what I'm going to put on the end of my equation, equals 13. G minus 6 equals 13. The question does not ask us to solve this equation, so we're all done. Question 2 is very similar. This one tells you that your friend has R raspberries. So they're saying we don't know how many raspberries your friend has. We're using R to represent that number. You have 23 raspberries. And then together, your total together is 50 raspberries. And our job is to write an equation that you could use to find R. So let's think about the situation. You have raspberries, your friend has raspberries, and then you have the total of the two. So what do I do with your raspberries and your friend's raspberries to get the total? I would need to add them together. Yours plus your friend's should give you the total. Now let's just go ahead and replace each of these pieces with the number or variable we were given in the problem. So your raspberries was 23. Your friend's raspberries was R. Okay, I know you might be able to figure out what R is, but it doesn't ask us to. It wants us to use R in the equation. And then that equals the total, which was 50 raspberries. 23 plus R equals 50. Again, we are not solving this. It just says to write an equation you could use to find R, not to actually find it. So question 3 says, tell if C equals 8 is a solution of this equation. C plus 25 equals 33. So notice it does not say solve. It says to tell if this is a solution. That means to just do the check step. The check step where we replace our variable with what we think it's supposed to be and we check if it actually makes a true equation. That will tell us if this really is a solution or not. So I'm going to take my equation, C plus 25 equals 33. I'm going to rewrite C as 8 because they are asking me to see if that's a solution. If I replace C with 8, will it make this equation true? Now I just need to decide what 8 plus 25 is. That would be 33. Excuse me. 33 equals 33. Perfect. This equation is true. Both sides are equal. That means that C equals 8 really is a solution. Yes, it is. If I make C into 8, it does create a true equation. Now, questions 4 through 7 ask us to solve the equation showing all steps and checking our work. So number 4 is x plus 19 equals 42. So I'm going to draw my line through my equal sign. I don't want to know what x plus 19 is. I want to know what x is. So how do I undo plus 19? I do the opposite. I subtract 19. Plus 19 minus 19 undo each other, leaving only x left over. But whatever I do to one side, I must do to the other. So I need to subtract 19 over here as well. 42 minus 19 is 23. So my solution is x equals 23. And now we're going to check not only because it asks us to in the directions, but also this will help us make sure that our solution is right. Because then if it's not, we could go back and fix it. When I check, I'm going to take my original equation, x plus 19 equals 42, And I'm going to turn x into what I think it's supposed to be. I think it's supposed to be 23. 23 plus 19 equals 42. Now, what is 23 plus 19? Well, that would be 42. 42 equals 42. Perfect. Both sides are equal. That means this really is the solution. This is what x needs to be to make our equation true. Question 5, we're going to solve n minus 11 equals 5. So draw our line through our equal sign. I don't want to know what n minus 11 is. I want to know what n is. So how do I undo minus 11? I do the opposite. I add 11. Minus 11 plus 11 undo each other, leaving only n left over. But whatever I do to one side, I must do to the other side. So we need to add 11 over here as well. 5 plus 11 makes 16. So that's my solution, n equals 16. But let's check just to be sure. So I'm going to take my original equation, n minus 11 equals 5. And I'm going to turn n into 16 because that's what I think it's supposed to be. Now, what is 16 minus 11? Well, it would be 5. 5 equals 5. Perfect. That means this really is my solution. N does need to equal 16 to make this equation true. Question 6 says k over 3 equals 8. I'll draw my line through my equal sign. Now I need to remember when it says k over 3, what does that mean? What operation is happening between k and 3? The fraction bar means they're divided. So this means k divided by 3. And I don't want to know what that is. I want to know what k is. So how do I undo divided by 3? I'm going to multiply by 3. Times 3 divided by 3 undo each other, leaving only k left over. But if I multiply this side by 3, I must do the same to the other. I need to multiply this side by 3 as well. 8 times 3 gives me 24. So my solution is k equals 24. And I'm going to check just to be sure. So I'm going to take my original equation, k over 3 equals 8. I'm going to turn k into 24 because that's what I think it's supposed to be. 24 over 3, that means 24 divided by 3, which is 8. 8 equals 8. Perfect. That means my solution is correct. K does need to equal 24 to make this equation true. And finally, question 7, 3p equals 33. Draw our line through our equal sign. Now, what does 3p mean? 3p means 3 times p. And I don't want to know what that equals. I want to know what p equals. So how do I undo that times 3? I use the opposite. I divide by 3. Times 3 divided by 3 undo each other, leaving only p left over. But if I divide this side by 3, I have to do the same to the other. 33 divided by 3 gives me 11. So my solution is p equals 11. And now I'm going to check just to be sure. That means I'm going to take my original equation, 3p equals 33. I'm going to replace p with 11. 3 times 11 equals 33, because that's what I think p is. I think it's 11. 3 times 11 makes 33. 33 equals 33. Perfect. That means I did this correctly. P does need to equal 11 to make this equation true. And our last question, question 8, has 2 parts. So part A, they tell us that you purchase B items for $12 each, and that the total cost of those items is $72. And part A wants us to write an equation that we could use to find B, to find the number of items. So let's think about this. I have a cost per item, and I have a number of items, and I know the total cost of that. What would I do with the cost per item and the number of items to get the total cost? I would multiply them. Cost per item times the number of items should give me the total cost. So now all I have to do is replace each of these things with the number or variable that was given in the problem. Cost per item was $12 times the number of items represented by B equals the total of $72. Or instead of 12 times B, you might write 12B equals 72. Now part B is where now it says go ahead and solve this equation. So I'm going to take that equation, 12B equals 72, draw my line through my equal sign. 12B means 12 times B, and I don't want to know what that equals. I want to know what B equals. So how do I undo times 12? I do the opposite. I divide by 12. Times 12 divided by 12 undo each other, leaving only B left over. But whatever I do to one side, I'm going to have to do to the other. 72 divided by 12 is going to be 6. B equals 6. You purchased 6 items. But let's check just to be sure. So I'm going to take my equation, 12b equals 72. And I'm going to replace b with 6 because that's what I think it's supposed to be. 12 times 6 equals 72. And now I'm going to actually multiply 12 and 6. 12 times 6, that is 72. So I get 72 equals 72. Perfect. This confirms that b equals 6 is the correct solution. B does need to equal 6 to make this equation true.